Yo, what the hell is up? Welcome back to Reviews with Jake, where I just got done watching the Super Mario Bros. Movie. I don't think I need to bother you with the synopsis of the Super Mario Bros. Video game franchise. If you don't know it in all of its simplicity, I don't know what to tell you. I only really feel the need to do a full-length review for this one to defend my stance as well as elaborate upon my worries about what this film will lead to. Because from what I've seen, this seems to be collectively a pretty well-received film, and I do agree from a lot of perspectives. I think that is merited. So let's start the pros off with the animation of this film. Boy, animation these days is just unreal. I feel like I say this upon every single animated film that I review, but I seriously can't see it getting better than what it is today. I do think that we probably said the same thing 20 years ago with Shrek and Toy Story and whatnot. We thought it couldn't get any better, but it obviously did. But I seriously do think that we're at the pinnacle right now. This is a vibrant, beautiful, well-rendered film. The colors, the textures, the scale, I mean, it all just looks so good. I also really enjoyed the vast majority of the voice acting of this film. Charlie Day as the cowardly Luigi, perfect. Jack Black as Bowser. I mean, you can't watch School of Rock or Tenacious D and tell me that that guy does not belong as a fire-breathing demon turtle. Seth Rogen works as Donkey Kong even with his goofy-ass laugh, and then there's Chris Pratt, who I know everyone was banging on his portrayal, even though the fact that he is not Italian himself, kind of an interesting choice, and I know a lot of people don't like Chris Pratt these days, but he is far from the worst aspect of this film. This is a stacked voice ensemble, and I don't think that there's really a weak link across the board. I also really enjoyed the little Easter nuggets and nostalgic moments for us adults watching this film that grew up playing Nintendo games. It was a lot of fun to see these beloved characters, locations, this world on the big screen in a respectful way. It scratched an itch that the 1993 live-action Super Mario movie certainly did not. This also brings me right to the score, another really strong aspect of this film. It took the compositions, the very simple tunes that we played on the Nintendo that you heard in the background, the 8-bit sound, and just expanded these tunes into something epic and special. It was a very reverent way to handle it. However, this does bring me right to the cons, because while I thought the score of this film was something special, the soundtrack was not. The difference being the catalog of popular music that they inserted into the film, like playing Take On Me while we're cruising through Donkey Kong Country. That does nothing for me. I have no association with this song and this location. It does nothing. It taps into no part of my brain and my memory warehouse to take me back to being a kid again like some of the other aspects. There's no warm blanket. There's no nostalgia. Whereas some of these other times where they're using the original tunes and building them out, that taps into something for us adults that grew up loving this. Take On Me, that does nothing for me. It's a dumb combination. You have so many other games where Donkey Kong Country is featured with so many different songs that you could have pulled from and expanded upon. I don't know, I think Take On Me is just kind of lazy. Also, in regards to the plot itself, this is a pretty skimpy, bare bones plot. I mean, as is the story of Mario, but still, this is a 90-minute film and they jam a lot of content into that short runtime. The character work is so basic, you don't build a connection, a bond with any of the wide array of characters. The flow is also incredibly choppy. It just kind of feels like we're jumping from place to place, event to event. It almost feels more like a highlight reel than an actual cohesive story. I kind of felt the same way about the D&D movie last week. It just jumped around way too much, where like you're in a wintry setting one moment and the very next you're in the desert, where you can run and take a piss really quick and miss an entire set piece. Both movies kind of felt like they went the route of quantity versus quality, which is a good way to show a wide array of stuff in a short amount of time, but it's hard to get truly invested in a film that is paced like that. I'll also point out the biggest issue about this film for me personally, and that is the humor. Again, this is for me personally, because I, now a 32-year-old man that went to go see this movie in the theater, I acknowledge I am not the target audience for this film, by a long shot. You think I would be among that crowd because I'm among the people that grew up with these characters, this world, but this movie is not for me. The Super Mario Bros. Movie is 1000% a kid's movie. The laughs and the humor are cheap, they're lazy, lowest common denominator funny, which is great for kids, but for me personally, I barely let out more than a chuckle. But despite the fact that this film is not made for me, I'm still gonna lob this in with the cons because there are way too many examples of more clever kids films that did more than the cheap bag of tricks to get laughs out of kids. The Mitchells vs. the Machines, the Lego Movie, Zootopia, hell, even Shrek. All of those were much more clever of kids films that got actual legitimate laughs out of adults too. More cleverly written kids movies have kinda ruined kids movies for me. The bar is set too high. Kinda like John Wick has kinda ruined action in a lot of ways for me because they set the bar too high. I used to watch other action movies that I used to think were good action movies, and now I watch them and I'm like, I don't know. It's a lot of cuts. A lot of shaky cam. Can we widen out the shot a little bit? The bar has been set too high, and I do think that there is some demerit to be handed out to writers that think they can dip into the same ink that they used to do and get away with it. The standards are too high now. I especially want to bring this up because I am so fearful of what this particular movie may lead to, which is the primary reason for me making the full-length review. I want this movie to do well because it will open the door for other Nintendo properties to get to the big screen, and I think based on things I've heard from audiences, it is doing well, and it very well may do that, which is exciting. However, there is one particular Nintendo property, probably the second most popular of such, that I am absolutely mortified that they are going to possibly take this template, the kids movie approach, and apply it to that. And that is Zelda. Coming from a guy that has a Master Sword replica, a guy that has a Triforce Eagle tattooed to his chest, the prospect of a Zelda movie excites me and terrifies me all at the same damn time. Because the beautiful thing about there never being a Zelda movie is the fact that they have not made an awful Zelda movie yet. It remains beautiful, pure, unscathed in the video game world. Whereas if you look at my second favorite video game franchise, Resident Evil, I die a little inside every time I see an awful movie or TV show with that IP slapped in the title. Look, this movie is fine for what it is. And that's a kids movie. Nintendo, if you're gonna look at the success I assume you're going to have with this film financially, and you want to turn your attention to the next IP in your catalog, for all that is holy, please do not do this to Zelda. Mario can work as this cute, dumb kids movie, that's fine, but the themes in Zelda deserve so much greater than that. Get all your Bonnie Tyler holding out for a hero out of your system now, because I will absolutely riot if I see Link riding Epona across Hyrule with that song playing, or I see Ganondorf writing a song on the piano to serenade Zelda. I will not have it. I think the crux of my concern is the fact that this is Illumination that made this movie, who so far have not demonstrated to me personally that they are capable of doing anything other than a Minions type humor. I admit, I have not seen every Illumination film, but from what I've seen in my sample size, I do not trust that company to take on a Zelda film. I think Disney would do a good job with it. Hell, look at Raya and the Last Dragon. I thought that film encapsulated the vibe of Breath of the Wild perfectly. They could do it. Or look at DreamWorks. They made those How to Train Your Dragon films. I haven't seen those all, but I thought that they're at least closer than this was. Illumination films seem to be the definition of a dumb, disposable kids movie, which is fine for Mario, not Zelda. End my incredibly dorky rant. All in all, is this movie an improvement over the 1993 live-action Mario movie? Yeah, I suppose, but it is 1000% a kids movie, and I'm a guy in his early 30s. The nostalgic connection helps, sure, but it wasn't enough to fully blast me all the way up DK Mountain. I'm going to give the Super Mario Bros. Movie a C. But that is just me. What do you think? Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. And make sure to subscribe to this channel and stay up to date with new reviews coming real soon. Stay safe. Thanks for checking in.